issue of budget is very crucial in any country, and it's of utmost importance to citizens because it is through budgetary allocation that government delivers services to citizens. In the past, since the return to civil rule actually, there has been this move for citizens to engage in the budgetary process. In the last 3 years, this has deepened in a lot of ways. The citizens portal is there, the public hearing is being done, citizens have developed a template for monitoring the budget, and there's marginal increases in budgetary allocation to some key sectors. But a lot still needs to be done. The executive needs to change the entire budget structure to ensure that there are more allocations to areas that will deliver services. There is a need to reduce recurrent expenditure drastically. The legislature need to ensure that this happens and also to do serious oversight of the budget. And citizens need to increase their engagement in the entire budget cycle, from formulation to approval to implementation to auditing. There has been a few audit reports that have been released. Citizens need to study this audit report. The legislature need to engage with the audit report to ensure that in the final analysis, the budget of Nigeria will deliver services to citizens.
Well, PERL has worked very hard over the past 3 years to ensure that citizens groups come together, work together, and deliberately form a critical mass of voice to engage budget so that there will be improvement in service delivery across board. But again, it's very good to know that citizens groups and civil society have been working very hard, and there are so many results that they've shown. But we need to do more, because the major thing is to get citizens to be part of budget and to gain the best out of budget. Today we see a lot of citizens groups, including media, private sector, community-based groups, NGOs, coming together to strategize on ensuring that there's a very good strategy to improve services to the citizens.
Yeah, my expectation for budget in Nigeria, for the states at the federal level, and also now that funds are going directly to the local government, we expect that the local government should also have budget. My expectation is that there should be citizens' participation in the budget process. Considering all the levels, starting from preparation all the way to the auditing process. For us at the National Yam Association, we've been able to engage the two ministries, Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, and they've been able to request from us what we need to move the yam value chain forward. And we've made input at the level of preparation. But for now, that is where it stops. We also need to be taken along at the level of implementation, giving us access to projects, sites, so that we can also monitor what is happening on the ground.
Expectation over the budget will be this. One, we want transparency. We want transparency in the process of the budget, also in terms of the formulation, in terms of the implementation, and of course, there should be a process of evaluation. We want transparency. We want transparency in the sense of what are those projects that are going to be financed by the budget. I mean, who decides what project is relevant? Who decides how much goes into a particular project? We want the input, we want that space to be open to Nigerians. And we want accountability. Who should be held responsible in terms of project execution at different levels? We want the information at different levels, and we want responsibility. We want to be able to know who should be held responsible, where to hold whoever needs to be held responsible. So I think for us generally there are two things. Transparency is what we want from the beginning, all through the process of the budget of the budget. We want accountability all through the process of the budget, and very critically, we want a budget that is pro development, pro people, pro development in the sense that for everything we spend our money in, we should be able to see a value addition to the economy. We should be able to see, for instance, specifically poverty. We should be able poverty being reduced. For every project, we should be able to see how much of poverty is going to be reduced from this expenditure, how much of jobs will be created from this kind of spending, whether we are spending on capital expenditure or even recurrent expenditure. Let us see how much of human development, how much of employment, how much of quality value are we adding to employment generation, how much of quality are we adding to even the whole process of our economy generally. So we should not just spend for the sake of spending, we should spend because we want to see productive output out of that expenditure. So for us, that is what it is. But oftentimes what has been happening with the Nigerian budget is that we just look for revenue. It's about revenue and expenditure. We just want to gather money and want to spend it. How we spend, the quality of expenditure does not really matter. We want to see quality in terms of our expenditure. We want to see honesty and transparency even in terms of the revenue generation as well.